Are you interested in opening a live music venue? Or are you about to open a live music venue? This is another clip from Jason Hunnicutt, who is the owner of 1904 Music Hall in Jacksonville, Florida. It's a 300 cap music venue, and as I mentioned in the last video, Jason literally thought about every single thing about this venue. He literally uses every square inch of that space that he has to make the most out of it, to make the best experience for the artists and the fans. And if you are in Florida and if you happen to go by Jacksonville, definitely check out 1904 Music Hall. You'll get some really good ideas on how to open up a really cool small venue and make the most out of the space that you have available and like I said, give the fans and the artists the best experience possible. So in this clip, Jason talks about some of the things that people should think about right before opening doors, right? Right, and he opened doors. What were some of the things that went through his mind and some of the challenges? Also, he has some advice to give for future venue owners. So if you're interested in opening a venue or you're about to open a venue, he has some really good advice for future venue owners. This clip is from podcast episode number 30. So if you're interested in hearing the full podcast, the link to that is in the description below. Also, if you have any specific questions about this video or other topics in the music industry, leave a comment below. I'll make sure to answer those or create some additional content with that in the future. So enjoy this clip from podcast episode number 30 with Jason Hunnicutt.
Live the life you love.
So as you're gutting this place down and stripping everything out, and before you open doors, what were some of the big surprises and learning experiences that you didn't expect while this whole journey began?
Obviously, building codes, fire codes, ADA codes, ADA especially. Obviously, we knew we had to have ADA requirements, but the first architect we had, I don't think was aware, or he didn't do a lot of the projects of our scope. He might have did, I think, some more residential stuff. So we didn't have a handicap ramp the first time we got inspected. Mm-hmm. Our toilets were handicap height, and we had handicap bars to hang onto, but our sinks didn't have levers; they were knobs. Mm-hmm. And I guess ADA requirement is you actually have to have a levered sink, levered doors, all the little stuff. So little things like that, and then dealing with the permits of the space, because you're actually changing the use of the space from a retail to a bar, mm-hmm. and all the codes that have to kind of go into that. So that was a big surprise. That kind of tripped us up a little bit. We were hoping to open, I think, in January, and then we ended up opening up in March. Okay, so 3 months behind.
I mean, only two months later. It's not that big.
No, not that.
Some places take a lot longer.
Yeah. Luckily, I mean, we're obviously we're not a huge space, and a lot of the stuff moved along pretty quick. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but just that little kind of hiccup with that was pretty unexpected, and then from there, just obviously, keeping the consistency, having a consistent calendar, consistent shows, and having obviously good staff, and kind of keeping that going. It's hard, obviously starting a business, and the first few months are always always the toughest. But yeah.
So I know we're running out of time. I could probably go on this topic forever, so we'll probably do a round 2 down the road.
Yeah, definitely.
But if it's cool, I have a couple more questions.
Yeah, for sure.
For anyone that's the aspiring venue owner out there that wants to open their own venue in their city, what advice would you give them?
Say yes, man. Just say yes, dude. You just commit to it. There were weeks there, obviously, where the bank account was floating there and going into the negatives, but I don't think I ever would be exposed to all the other styles of music or different kind of shows, everything. We've done burlesque shows, wrestling.
Wrestling in here?
We've done wrestling. Yeah. Some local wrestling stuff. But or just just some even we've had noise nights where noise was not something I think I'd be listening to. But
noise nights?
Noise nights, noise music.
I have no idea what that is.
So it's a style of music where it's called noise, and a lot of it has to do with a lot of feedback and a lot of way too much echo or reverb, and
Is that even good on your speakers?
well, a lot of times we mic their amps. We make them bring
Okay.
bring their own amps
good.
to do all their noise out of, and then we'll mic that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, just in like jazz nights, hip hop nights, everything from like I had like an older gentleman come in and tell me about his band, and I first initially like brushed him off. I was like, oh, these old fogies, they don't know what they're doing. And then hit me up again, booked it, and 200 people are in here, bars slamming, and it's just like, oh, okay. So yeah, definitely say yes and be open kind of to everything, because as much as you think your musical taste is great, and as much as like you think you know what people want to hear and what they want to experience, it's really up to kind of the community that you're kind of that's supporting you. So it's really what they want to do, or what they want to hear, and so it's kind of, yeah, so just be open to everything, and open to all kinds of ideas, yeah, so just be open.
Very cool. Wow, just had a good question. What was the moment when it's scary to open a venue, and you have moments where you get into the red and you don't know if it's gonna last, and you have to shut down doors. Like, what was the moment where you felt like, okay, we're in a good place and this is actually gonna go somewhere?
I think our first sold out show, I think seeing that, like having that first sellout was kind of the eye opener. That was our New Year's Eve, which it was gonna be busy anyways, but we never reached capacity before then, and we're like, holy shit, this is like sold out. And
New Year's Eve of the first year?
Yeah, the very first year we were open. So we were open for about 9 months, and like I said, just kind of making it work, and just had to we almost looked at it as a side hustle for us. It wasn't our main gig, but then once that happened, and then once the calendar started filling up more, and you can kind of see the growth, and then also just when when it wasn't your immediate friends or people really supporting you, like seeing because I mean, Facebook reviews really weren't big 5 years ago, but just kind of seeing like the positive feedback from people about it, and that was like and random people, they're just like best venue in Jacksonville, or best I love this experience, great music all the time. And then also having like the bands too, making them happy, and them having a great show. I love your sound, I love your sound guy, I love the experience. So I think once that started happening, and it started happening more frequently, it was kind of like, all right, like cool. We're not just another bar, we're actually kind of growing here. So
cool.